See me and all my family. Don't buy the bullshit you're talking about. Stop hating on the next man, get up. Most talk tough, but ain't no killers. To my little man, ain't no man realer. Cause Papa make sure that he always eat dinner. They shooting for the paper. He don't change for a little bit of change. Wave to them haters. Hi hater, mad they bitches love me like vibrators. Been sick since pushed through labor. Spent chips like I never ever planned for later. Stop worrying and counting the next man money. Fucking calculators. Flow classic.
Welcome to the podcast. I'm your host, Rick H.
And I'm Jason Enrique. Yes, indeed.
We took a week off. It wasn't by choice. The birth of my third child happened. And thank you, Jason. I appreciate it, my brother. Absolutely. And it's a great thing. It's a great experience. Jason was gracious enough, to give me the night off. Yeah, and I'm happy it happened because it took away some of the pain and anguish from what we'll discuss tonight. It was a beautiful experience. So my second daughter, third child was born, and very happy about that. Jason, my brother,
yes.
How have you been?
I've been doing good, man. Well, first and foremost, I want to wish you and any other fellow podcasters out there that are watching a happy International Podcast Day, September 30th. And it is also the 4th anniversary of my show, First Class, Second Place, today. So thank you to everybody that has been a huge support of the show. Thank you to everybody that's been a part of the show. That includes you as well, Rick. Basically, First Class, Second Place has been a life changer for me. I don't think if that show has ever happened, I don't think I would have gotten the opportunities that I've been faced with these past 4 years. Had a lot of ups and downs, but mostly ups and downs. So I just wanted to share that little tidbit right now. And also, the podcast will be coming back tomorrow because I did take a hiatus on September, but tomorrow it is back live and direct. Yes, indeed.
And perfect. I can relate. That's why I brought back the Rick H Show, which will be coming on Mondays. Mondays, you can catch me on the Rick H Show. Tuesdays, you can catch us together. And then you can catch Jason on Wednesdays. I'm having a little beer, drinking water, and watching this Yankee game. High pressure situation for Chapman right now. Although I am a Mets fan, I can't root against New York. I never could. So this is what playoff baseball is about. Chisholm at bat, second now. It looks like the run on third will score. No, held up. Game is still 3-1 with 2 outs.
Yeah.
Not the result you want.
Yeah, as Joe Girardi would say, it's not what you want.
Yeah, everybody talks about that short porch out there. It also works against you when a fly ball, because it's not that deep out there. And here we got Trent Grisham. He's batting up, bases loaded, 2 outs. This is it. You got to get this game.
Oh, absolutely. I forget who I was listening to on the radio. Oh, it was Don LaGreca who actually said whoever wins this series, he feels is going to represent the American League in the World Series.
I mean, I'm allergies. I'm sorry. Sneeze is coming on. Excuse me. I hate doing that while we're doing an audio show.
Well, people, this is what we do, but this is what you get when you're podcasters.
Yeah, it's I mean, what can I say? Yes, it's a possibility. I honestly see Detroit. I see they were a consistent team all year round. The Mariners are a scary team, believe it or not.
Yeah.
And Toronto's a scary team. And
yes, they are scary.
Out in the National League, I'm only scared of The Brewers. I feel like the Brewers are a team to watch. But I still feel this will be a champion from the National League. Not to hate on the Yankees. If they win, that's awesome. That's great. Great for New York. Great for the Yankees. And if they do win, it's because Aaron Judge did something and got them there. So we can only pray and hope that's what's happening.
Right. Well, it's not. Doesn't look like it's going to happen tonight because the Red Sox have just won 3-1 in Game 1.
I mean, I'm on a little bit of a delay here. I didn't want to start the show till there was a finale to this. And it looks Jason's correct. Let's Trent Grisham struck out on a 101-mile pitch from Chapman. Chapman made it dicey right there at the end.
Yep, he did.
So let's look at the Yankee schedule. Update because this is a weird. It's weird the way baseball does this. So they play again tomorrow at Yankee Stadium.
Correct.
All 3 games are at Yankee Stadium.
Yeah. We because we led them. We had a better record in the division.
Okay, so they do have a chance. I'm not going to, like I said on this pod, there's no Yankee hate here. There's no Yankee slander or any of that. For me personally, I saw Volpe did some good things tonight. That'll be huge for them.
He did homer today.
Yeah. Sure. So, and he did something last year in the playoffs, in the postseason. So, good luck to Volpe in the postseason. Hopefully, he has a great postseason, and he could put some of the regular season behind him.
Mm-hmm.
They're moving on to Cincinnati and LA on the television. Let's just really quickly wrap up on the Yankees. What I feel for the Yankees in the postseason, last year you had Gleyber Torres, last year you had Juan Soto. Obviously, those 2 pieces are gone, but you do have Goldschmidt and you do have Bellinger and Chisholm, which you had last year. But I feel like Chisholm's on a different level this year. He's played more consistent. He provided some pop, 30 home runs. So,
and Max Fried did really well for us this season too.
Fried, but Garrett Crochet was phenomenal. Besides Juan Soto, he was the player to get in the offseason. And Boston went out and got him and paid a king's ransom for him as far as prospects. But he earned his spot in Red Sox lore tonight. So kudos to Crochet. No hate on the Yankees, like I've said. I can't root against New York. I would never do that. I will only root against the Yankees when the Mets are playing them. So hopefully they turn this thing around tomorrow and they pick up a victory and force Game 3.
Yeah, I'm on the same wavelength as you, where I may be a Yankee fan and I may be a Jets fan and even a Knicks and a Devils fan, but I never really had any hate or vitriol to the supposed rivalries of the other siblings when it comes to the teams. When it comes to my teams that I hate, it's usually either Boston or Florida. Like those are the ones that I can't stand with passion. But
talk to me about Florida. Oh my God, Miami. The Jets and the Mets had a rough weekend in Florida.
Yo, shout out to my boy Carlos who joined us last week. Last episode I should say. And the last 48 hours for him have been terrible. I mean, between the Mets having one of the biggest collapses in their history to the Jets proving that they're once again the worst sports organization in all of America, it's been a rough 48 hours for my boy Carlos. Shout out to you, Doe.
Well, you just said that, and the Mets said, Jets, worst organization in America. Hold my beer right now. So let's get to the topic at hand. Let's get to probably what people wanted to see, and it's me going off on my own Mets, right? Like I said, I really wasn't watching too much last week. I was more in the moment with my family. The addition to my family. I was very emotional. You know, a child is always life changing, and she was healthy, and it was a beautiful moment, right? The Mets did pick up a win, which, you know, it kind of eased the pain, but they had to take 2 out of 3 against the Miami Marlins. And Sandy Alcantara, right, which is a pitcher the Mets could have had in the offseason as well as at the deadline, did you guys in. Because Game 3, the last game of the season, they kind of looked flat. I don't think they were in it at all. I think there was a shot with Sandy. Sandy was wiggling in and out of trouble. And he did the Mets in. And he proved to baseball, because a lot of doubters were doubting Sandy at the deadline, stating he's not the same pitcher. And I kept saying on this show and on other shows, Sandy's coming off of Tommy John. I guarantee you by September, he'll be back to form. And that's exactly what he was. It looks like I'm freezing in and out of the frame here, and I apologize for the visual. Hopefully the audio is intact.
The audio is intact.
The Mets completely collapsed. And these are my thoughts. They acquired Soto in the offseason, gave him one of the richest contracts in history.
The richest contract.
Yes. And Yankee fans started chirping at Mets fans. I've heard this all day. You guys were talking all that smack, yada, yada, yada. Yankee fans were scorn lovers. They immediately started. I was celebrating the fact that he signed with the Mets. Now, I got a lot of hate because I was posting pictures of Juan in the Mets jersey. I was not taking shots at the Yankees or the Yankee fans. But they came at me, and I came back at them. I still feel we had the better talented offense. I still feel we have the better minor league system. I still feel we have the better owner. Coaching and GM is questionable for me on both sides. I'll get into some of the blame that needs to go around. They looked phenomenal to start the season. Around my birthday, they were probably the best team in baseball, and they gave me a nice win. It was the first game my son watched from beginning to end with me on TV. So it was a great birthday, and I was bragging. I was bragging on social media. And my boy John, who's a Yankee fan, he told me, hey, remember, these are the Mets. And I was like, yeah, but we're looking good. We're looking good. We're about to get back Sean Manaea. We're about to get back, who was the other injured? Kodai Senga. Then Griffin Canning goes down, which, by the way, I didn't think that would hurt that much, but Jesus. Griffin Canning goes down. Manaea and Singer come back, and they're not the same. We're doing the Clay Holmes experiment, which in an overall picture, it went very well. Should David Stern had addressed the pitching better, 1,000%. That was something that we said, going into the season, and that was something a lot of Yankee fans told me. But it looked so good in the beginning of the season that I drank the Kool-Aid, and I was all in, and I had signed up. Griffin Canning looked good. David Peterson looked amazing. He had a great season. Who else do we have in the? Clay Holmes was pitching very well. The bullpen was a little shoddy at times, and the offense wasn't clicking at 100%. Mostly it was Pete Alonso that carried us for 2 months. Then Juan Soto went off. Lindor was on and off, on and off, on and off. Nimmo was the same, on and off, on and off, on and off. This is more disappointing than when they collapsed in September. when in 2007 with the Delgado Beltran team. They are a lot more talented, a lot deeper, and essentially they were almost the exact same team that was in the NLCS last year, with the exception of not having Severino, not having Jose Iglesias, not having JD Martinez. Those are the key pieces that left. Now, it goes to show a few things. JD Martinez, leader in the locker room.
Yes.
He was one of the guys that helped turn last year around. Jose Iglesias, sure-handed infielder, great defensively, and great in the clubhouse, and great gathering the guys together. He was surely missed. And my God, signing Montas instead of Severino, I think was the biggest mistake that we made at that time.
Correct. Well, almost one of the things that in the press conference with Stearns, one thing that he kept on talking about was run prevention or hit prevention. I think it was run prevention. In layman's terms, I would call that pitching. So, as phenomenal as the Mets offense was this season, they couldn't back it up with defense. Defense, it's so important in baseball to have a number one or at least an ace, because that's almost equivalent of not having a quarterback on your football team. You need to have an ace. Now, it doesn't even have to be a Garrett Cole or a Paul Skeens or a Scooble or anything like that. If he's even just a quasi-elite ace, as long as he's an ace, then you should be good. And having Kodai Senga going in as your ace going into the season was questionable at best with a lot of people that were Mets fans or not Mets fans. They were just looking at it from the eye test. And due to the fact that you guys had you have the richest.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. You have the richest owner in all of sports. He was willing, and he was also the hero that got Juan Soto to the Mets and also brought back Pete. Now Pete is opting out of his contract. We don't know what's going to happen. We know that the Yankees need a first baseman, and that's what he excels at. He would have to just go across the town. So we'll see what happens. And you guys got Juan Soto for the next 14 or 13 years. He's not going anywhere. I think Lindor is going to be good, but at the end of the day, it was just the thing that really, really hindered you guys all season was the pitching, and that's something that Stearns kept on saying: run prevention, run prevention. That's called pitching, my G. You got to keep pitching.
Yeah, he said nothing. So thank you for picking that up. He said nothing. He really said nothing. Kodai is an exceptional pitcher, but again, he was coming back from injury. Right. He should have been on a restriction. Having him and not Garrett Cole. I'm so sorry. Having him and
little Freudian slip there.
And yes, having him and Holmes.
Yes.
Those are two pitchers in your rotation that you're going to rely on to eat up a lot of innings. Having them together, now that I'm playing this whole Met season back, was a huge mistake. If you're going to have Kodai Senga, then you better get a pitcher that eats innings. Yes, they went after Garrett Crochet and they didn't get him. But again, you could have went after Sandy Alcantara. You could have had Severino. Sevy, I feel, should have been the pitcher you brought back. You did bring back Manaea, and I understand why you brought back Manaea. I get that. But he got hurt at spring training. He was going to come back on an innings limit, and the Mets had a real problem with getting 5 or 6 innings from a starting pitcher. Now, when you're going through that horrendous slump that they went through in June and July, I fully expected them to call the cavalry in and bring up the 3 young pitchers. Now, the excuse was, hey, we don't want to bring them up and put them in a high-pressure situation, and they ended up folding. Well, you ended up bringing them up anyway. Was that the plan this whole time? And if it was, why didn't you bring them up earlier? So that's a mistake. That's an organizational mistake. Secondly, we are getting at the pitching really hard. But the real problem with the Mets is they played lifeless, without passion, without fight, without grit. And I couldn't tell you. It really is karma, because I did a video in last season's playoffs talking about these aren't the same Yankees, right? Mm-hmm. Well, everything I said about the Yankee team at that point in time, except for the Latino player take, you can put on this year's Mets team. Mm. It was like there was no on and off switch. There was no rah guy. There was no Iglesias. There was no JD. Winker was hurt, and I feel like Winker could have been a more of a presence as far as like getting good. He's a clubhouse guy. You didn't address center field. Jose Siri was a nice piece, but he got hurt, and you had nothing else but Tyrone Taylor. And as much as you want to play Tyrone Taylor in center field and Jeff McNeil, Jeff gives us tremendous flexibility, which I love. You don't have a real center fielder, which you need, right? So he didn't get pitching. He didn't address center field. And I feel like he missed out on the biggest acquisition that he needed to bring back, which was Severino, which had you paid him the money. Now, Sevy didn't have an outstanding season in with the Athletics. Right. I understand all that. But when you're in a certain groove with a certain organization who had just went with the NLCS, why not give this guy a shot, right? If you feel Minaya earned it, then Severino definitely earned it. He pitched for the Yankees. He can handle the market, and he did a good job for you. So this is completely on the coaching, the general manager, and I'm going to give Steve Cohen a pass. Yeah. Because he was willing to spend. And that's all you want your owner to do. You want him to win, and you want him to be willing to spend. Yeah. What was your take on this? Is the biggest disaster I've ever seen, and next year I got to see what you guys are going to do. I got to see if they're going to respond. And so far, what I'm getting from Stearns and what I'm getting from the organization doesn't seem anything positive. Pete opted out right away. Now you got to make him a lifelong Met. So, floor is yours, my friend.
Yeah. So again, all of this goes to I put the lion's share of the blame on Stearns. Like, you have to give some of the blame to Mendy, but at the same time, I feel like Mendy was just working with what he had. You know, he was the one that was given the tools by Stearns, and then okay, go win us some games, go win us a championship. Mm-hmm. Stevie Cohen, Uncle Stevie, had to step in order not only to get Juan Soto with the richest contract in history, but also made sure that your beloved Polar Bear, Pete Alonso, who mm-hmm. should be the captain in a lot of Yankee fans' eyes as of this guy, because he's a homegrown Met. He loves it here. He has been mm-hmm. phenomenal. He should be your Derek Jeter. He really should. And it wasn't until Cohen stepped in.
You think him over Francisco Lindor?
Only because of because if we want to do the Jeter comparisons, because he's homegrown. As much, even though Francisco Lindor has been here 5-6 years, yeah. The people are going to relate more to Polar Bear because he's what he's done for the organization, and he's a homegrown Met, and only from that, just simply from that aspect.
Okay.
Yeah, and I think that ultimately, if you're really going into Pete Alonso's head, he wants to be a lifelong Met. Lindor, as great as he's been, he seems more like a mercenary to me more than anything. He'll just go.
No, I disagree respectfully. Mm-hmm. So here's my take on Pete. If he really wants to be a lifelong Met, he wouldn't have opted out right away the way he did. He did it exactly like Soto did. I think he's a little bit of a scorn lover right now. There is a big possibility.
Well, they disrespected him.
Well, he disrespected himself. He turned down a very good deal years ago that he should have took. And he gambled on himself, and it paid off, which is great. There is a chance he comes back, depending on the money. But there's a big chance I see Pete in pinstripes next year in Yankee Stadium, and it could happen. And I think the Yankees are petty enough; they're not over the Soto leaving them thing that they would feel that this would equate that, which it really doesn't. But something I've always preached is having lifelong Mets, and signing Pete would be a step towards that. I think Pete should be one. Nemo's obviously going to be one. Be one, and David Peterson obviously going to be one.
And I think that you guys need to re-sign Edwin Diaz.
Yes. So, and the Lindor point as to being a mercenary. I think Lindor has fully embraced being a New York Met. I think he loves.
I think
being a
now
Met.
He has. Not in the beginning, but now
he knows this is his team. This is his organization. The guy really wants to win, and he wants to win it all. And I think he really wants to win it here with us. And I think his connection with the ownership is really tight. I mean, his wife played the violin, for God's sake, and she's practically like, she's known to Mets fans. They all love her. And to us, Lindor has earned his right to be the captain. A lot of Mets fans want to see the C on Lindor's chest because they feel like he has earned it. Pete shies away from leadership, and yes, he gave us a tremendous season, and yes, he's a lifelong Met, and he's going to have all those home run and RBI numbers. But at the end of the day, Lindor's a once-in-a-lifetime talent, and I don't think, again, he's not appreciated, not just in the Mets organization, but in baseball in general. He's just clutch. Probably the best shortstop in baseball. And if you ask any Yankee fan right now, would they take Francisco Lindor? It's 100% yes. Yes, we would take him. So let's talk about Pete Alonso. How'd you feel about, what'd you think about Pete immediately opting out? What was that like?
Well, the way that, like, because you mentioned how Soto did it with the Yankees, like he basically wasted no time to let people know that he's opting out. Mm-hmm. I think from an optics standpoint, that was like a little bush league. I mean, I understand that you felt disrespected by the organization, but this is it's just a business at the end of the day. As much as we hate to believe that, but I think he could have handled better. I mean, he was definitely showing sour grapes, but I think he could have handled a little bit better. And I think as much as I would love to have him as a Yankee, it just feels right that he just stays as a lifelong Met. And let's not forget, Stevie Cohen, he's the one that owns the team. He has the pocketbook. He could offer Pete Alonso a blank check if he wanted to.
And, I feel the same way you do. I feel like Pete should be a Met. He should be a lifelong Met. But at what cost? That's one thing. And
his age is an issue. Like he's 30, he's about to be 31.
His age is a factor, but like last year, you're in free agency and you don't put up a great season. This year, the clock is ticking and you want that multi-year deal, so you go all out. Am I going to get Pete from this year or Pete from last year if we extend them? Now,
I need to stay healthy.
I would do exactly what the old school Yankees would do is like I would pay the man, keep him around, and at the end of the contract, you got to see where he's at physically and if he could hold up. I would give Pete a 4-year deal with a fifth option. If that suffices for him and he likes it, then that works for both him and us. So. Yes, I would bring Pete back, but I don't think this is Alonso's team, although he is one of the faces of the franchise. So,
well, let me be clear about that. Like, what I meant earlier to say was like, I feel like Pete should be, but ultimately Lindor has proven that he's more of a leader than Pete does. But in a perfect world, especially considering that he's a lifelong, a homegrown Met, it feels like he should be the guy, but it's Lindor's team,
which is a mistake that the Mets have done. They haven't kept their homegrown Hall of Fame type players, so the Yankees haven't. That's why they have a illustrious history. Let's go back to who should take most of the blame for this disastrous season. I agree with you. David Stern, front and center. He's one. And I 100% believe coaching is two. As a coach and a manager, you have the ability to. Too many times I saw Mendy being too positive. It kind of gave me a Aaron Boone type of feel, type of vibe. Yep. Although Mendy gets more of a cushion or a room for error because it's his second season. That's one. Yes. Two, he just went to the NLCS. Yes. And three, I kind of feel like he has a pulse on the main guys on this team. Now, adding Juan Soto was a big adjustment. And we'll see how that's going to work out. I still feel like Soto is still feeling out his teammates, and I feel like his teammates are still feeling him out. He gave us a great season. I can't complain. Did we win? No. But the other guys didn't live up to their contracts. He did. That's how I feel.
Yeah, Frankie Montas was a huge disappointment this year.
And I feel it was worth every penny. He put the franchise on the map. Now they did a lot of national televised games. I feel like the Mets needed a shift in the dynamic, and he was the guy. And after the All-Star break, he really came with a chip on his shoulder like, oh, okay, the managers are hating on me because of the money I make. The players are hating on me because of the money I make. They didn't vote me onto the All-Star team. I'm going to show you guys. And he delivered. Most home runs ever hit in his career. Only one of three guys to accumulate the numbers he did. He gave us a 30-30 season. Never stole that many bases ever. I feel like he will be stealing a lot more bases on the Mets. I feel like that's one of the Mets' fortes. That was a positive that they can continue to build on. Him and Lindor are a nice 2-1 punch. I feel like he vibes a lot with Pete, and it's part of the reason why I kind of feel like Pete might come back because Soto might push to have Alonso back. But it's Stearns, and I think you keep our pitching coach Jeremy Hefner. I think he deserves a shot to get it right. You gave him 3 or 4 guys that had an innings restriction, and you knew that going into the season. And the Mets had the best ERA, bullpen, and starting around June, and then it just fell downward from there. So Hefner gets a pass, but I believe we need a new hitting instructor. We need a new bench coach. We need a clean house, and they're flowing around ideas of bringing Beltran and Willie Randolph onto the staff, which I love those two names being involved in the organization, being involved with the staff. Beltran more because I feel like he has a pulse on the players that are on the roster now, and I feel like he could get something out of them. But you need to get a JD Martinez type player as far as the locker room goes, and you need a sure-handed infielder. And the Mets have a good problem that I've said all season long. Brett Beatty played good. Vientos had a sophomore slump, but he came out of it. And then Ronnie Mauricio didn't get a full season at it, but Ronnie Mauricio is a problem. So they have 3 outstanding young middle infielders. And one of them's, I've been saying it, one of them is going to have to go. Yeah. Who it is, we don't know.
Yeah, and let's not forget about the young guys that you guys brought up. I mean, I think McClain did a fantastic job. I think he's going to be really special for you guys.
I think Nolan McClain and Jonah Tung and Brandon Sproat will be in our rotation.
Yeah,
possibly 2 of the 3 next year, and we do need to bring in one more arm.
Now, let me ask you this question. So yeah. I was listening on the radio today on Evan and Tiki, And they were talking about I forget who mentioned it, but they were talking about how the Pittsburgh Pirates, they're a minor league team essentially, and Paul Skeens, one of the best pitchers out there, he's definitely going to require some big money. There's probably going to be a team that's going to want him more than the Pittsburgh Pirates do. Would you be willing to give up any guy except for Nolan McLean, any of like Tong or any of the guys, and maybe throw in Francisco Alvarez in order to get a Paul Skeens?
Alvy, no, because he plays a premier position at catcher. One of the three guys I mentioned, and one of the pitching prospects for Skeen, and somebody in the top 30 of our minor league system should get it done. I feel like the Mets do have the players and prospects to lure him away from the Pirates. The Yankees tried at the deadline. I feel like they don't have the pieces to acquire Paul Skeens. We do, but is Pittsburgh really willing to give him up now?
Yeah. Well, not our farm system, but
that's the question. I mean, who would you give on the major league roster that they would take?
No, but I wouldn't give up any. What I'm just saying is that you have a better shot of getting Skeens.
We have the pieces to get Skeens,
right?
And a Skeens, Senga. I wouldn't give up McLean. I would keep up Nolan McLean.
No, he's untouchable.
Skeens, Senga, and Peterson with McLean looks a whole lot more like a dominating force to be reckoned with on that team.
That is a pretty scary lineup. I'm not going to.
And I'll tell you right now what gets it done. Ronnie Mauricio, Brandon Sproat.
Okay.
Either Jet Williams or we already gave up Drew Gilbert. Williams. I don't think the Mets are gonna. I think Tung's gonna be a Met. Okay. I think the guy to be had is Brandon Sproat, because he showed something at the major league level. Package him with Mauricio and another prospect, along with a major league ready player who's under contract to the Pirates. You're giving them a nice package, and I think the Pirates would go for it.
Okay. Yeah, and so I guess going back to our original point, for me, the lion's share of the blame goes to the GM, because I think Mendy was just working with what he had, even though he did make some managerial mistakes. But he's in his second year. I think he'll get better as time goes on. And Stevie Cohen did what he did. And usually the fish rots from the head, and he is the owner. He is the buck stops with him, literally. But I just think that Stearns, he was trying to show everybody
he's the smartest guy in the room.
Yeah,
it smells like a lot of Brian Cashman.
Correct. He was trying to do. It was like if he was trying to do his best Brian Cashman, Billy Beane impression.
But this is the problem why Stearns, I feel, is worse. Right. Cashman, I feel, is dealing with financial strains from the owner.
Yeah, they want to count their pennies. Yeah,
I don't think the Steinbrenners want to spend money.
They don't.
Stevie Cohen just got approved to have the casino. He wants to make the Mets the attraction in Queens, so he is willing to spend. Now, David Stern is running this team as if they were the Milwaukee Brewers.
Right. And the Milwaukee Brewers didn't miss a step with him gone.
And that is a problem. Now, last year, he made some good moves. He placed some good bets, and they paid off, and they got to the NLCS. And I think he got in his head a little bit, right?
Yeah.
As much as I get into, and I get at Brian Cashman, pardon the pun, but Brian Cashman's got some cachet with that team. He's been in the Yankees for over 25 years.
Yeah, he's essentially George Steinbrenner's stepson.
Yeah, he started out, I think he started out in the video unit or something like that, but he's been with the team for a really long time. Mm-hmm. The ownership team knows him very well, right?
He's been there since he had hair.
Yes. David Stern is the president of baseball operations. I think he's also the GM, and I've said this before. you should always have some separation between your president of baseball ops and your general manager.
Right. Well, feel comfortable with this. I feel like ever since you guys had Brody Van Wagenen, you guys can only go up from here.
Yeah, I mean, one thing I do say I wish Cohen would do more is put Stern's feet to the fire a little bit more, put Mendy's feet to the fire a little bit more. He does want to win. He is passionate about winning, and he is spending. But George Steinbrenner, I'm gonna say it again, right? That's what you want in an owner. I mean, he's did a lot of terrible things. I'm not even gonna go over it again. But at the end of the day, if you were not up to par and you weren't living up to the standard, the real Yankee standard that it's been watered down since, he was not afraid to let you know.
Right.
And Steve Cohen's a different type of guy. And I, you know, I get it. But in this season, I felt like he needed to let the players and the managers and the coaches and everybody know that he was displeased with what he was seeing on the field. And, you know, I want to give a shout out to the Mets fans, right? They showed out. They showed out for the Mets. They sold out the stadium. Steve Cohen said, hey, we were 18th in attendance last year. They were there. They were pushing. They were supporting. They believed in this team, right?
Oh, yeah.
They didn't get anything in return. So the return on the investment was awful right now, Stevie. Let's do some things. Let's earn that trust back. The Soto thing was amazing. Monumental move for you. But that's the only thing I would get at him for. Keith McPherson stating that the blame should be on, and no disrespect to Keith, I think he's very good, right? I like his work. He's a diehard Yankee fan. The Yankees can't do no wrong. He's like, I don't want to hear about Volpe. I don't want to hear about the past. The past is the past. Today is now, and yada yada yada. He drinks that Yankee Kool-Aid as much as I drink that Met Kool-Aid. If you told Keith Steve Owen bought the Yankees, he would be all for it. So I blaming the putting the blame on Steve Cohen. Keith, come on, let's be serious, be real. You know you're saying that for clickbait. You know, I know you're a lot smarter than that. I know you're baseball savvy. You really truly do not believe we should be blaming Steve Cohen when he just shelled out all that money to get the biggest free agent and tell the opposing team in his own town, like, we're here to play ball. So I don't know about that take. Another take, WFAN. I told you about this earlier. WFAN, I don't know what's going on over there. Brandon Tierney, I can't listen to him talk about anything. I can't take the guy serious. Evan and Tiki, I kind of like. Sal, I listen to every once in a while. But Sal's saying the Mets should trade Francisco Lindor. Okay, Sal, for what? Tell me what we're going to do with Lindor. And who's going to replace Lindor on the team? Is it Acuna? Are you going to train one of the middle infielders to take over the shortstop position? You're trading away the best shortstop in baseball. What are you going to get in return? And who are you trading him to? Invest the money in another area. That's what he said. You can't be serious. You were one of the guys saying this guy should be the captain of the Mets. Now all of a sudden you want to trade him. Right?
Yeah. Well, listen, one thing that I find odd about Sal from the very beginning is I don't know where he leans. I mean, he's a guy that talks all this shit about the New York Jets and how they're a dysfunctional organization and he loves the Giants, but yeah, he'll wear like a Jets hoodie or something. Or like sometimes he'll switch back and forth with the Yankee or Knicks or Nets gear or whatever. I don't know where this guy is, what he roots for anyway. So he's just all over the place.
Okay.
And then second, and I think this applies to all of WFAN as historic and as iconic as they have reached a point in their quality or lack thereof where they're focused more on hot takes and ridiculous takes in order for people to get talking. So they're basically doing their job, ironically, by having us talk about the ridiculousness that they're doing. That's just my theory, but I think that it's I think it's wild. And with Keith McPherson, I think one of the things that he's referring to when it comes to Steve Cohen is that this is your toy. This is Steve Cohen's toy.
Yeah, the 5-year plan he was discussing.
Not just a 5-year plan, but you own this thing. So you could have got the OMG Mets, the Hawk Tua girl, the Grimace, all of the things that don't have to do with baseball. You let that happen in your house. And I think that is caused more of a concern than when with the Mets, when they should really be focused on winning. And they're nice stories, they're cool, they're cute, whatever the case may be. But at the end of the day, it's all about wins and losses. And when you don't have the wins to back it up, people are going to start pointing at Grimace and Hawk Tua and the OMG Mets and all that other stuff.
I mean, Yankee fans have said this that, Michael K., who we'll get to shortly, said, we get in our own way, right? Yeah. There's a couple things that the Mets, I don't think, doing the alumni game, that's cool. It's something what you want to do. The Wilpons never created a culture. I think that's what they're trying to do, right. which I can understand and appreciate. He attacked the 5-year, I'm gonna win a World Series, and there's something called a goal or something to shoot for. Yeah. I mean, you can't blame the guy. He shelled out the most money for a pitcher with Verlander and Scherzer. He shelled out the most money for Soto. Like he's really trying to make this work. And as much as people might think this is like a toy or a form of entertainment for Cohen, I think he's 100% in this. And I think he struck a nerve with the whole family thing. I think his wife, Alex, has done a tremendous job of making it feel like a family game again. I've said this a bunch of times. Growing up in Washington Heights, I used to go to the old Yankee Stadium. It was noisy. It was loud. It was ruckus. Everyone was into the game, right? That doesn't happen in the new Yankee Stadium. That happens in Citi Field. And going to a baseball game, it's pricey now. It should be an event. It should be something to look forward to. But there's just certain things that maybe we shouldn't do. When the Mets took the last names off the jersey, I was like, that's a Yankee thing.
Yeah.
Leave that alone, right? Alumni Day is cool. I think that every team should do that because
that is pretty cool. I like that.
Old Timers Day in Yankee Stadium. It brings back older players that fans want to see, and it's like a nice event. The hokey things, the hokey things like throwing first pitches, and the Grimace thing was funny, and the old OMG thing was good, but I don't want to be a gimmick. That's why when they show the Mets and then they show the guy like Frank the Tank is not speaking for every Met fan. It's just a guy who I don't relate to. When I think of the Mets and I think of Mets fans, I don't think of him. I think of normal people like me, my friend Juan, Jerry, Jamie, just people who are passionate about their team.
Correct.
Not to say Yankee fans aren't, but there's a lot of casual fans.
Yeah. Listen,
the hat.
Listen, with the exception of my cousins, every other Met fan I've ever met has been phenomenal. I would not be surprised if a Met fan is the godfather of my children, God willing, one of these days. But yeah, I've always had a somewhat of a respect for Mets fans. Because with the exception of my cousins and some other people, I never really had a problem with them. They never really had a problem. It was always just like a bunch of stupid, ball busting. And also, let me say this as a caveat. I've said this before on social media. To all my Yankee female fans, I love y'all, but Citi Field got some baddies out there. I've been to Citi Field a couple of times. The female Met fans are fucking smoke shows. Excuse my language. Trust me, you definitely want to go check out Met Citi Field and get you a baddie out there. Trust me.
I think it's different, you know. And us Met fans, we know each other, right? Like I speak to the guys from Amazing Met Zone. I speak to the guys from On Deck. J Mac, who's the guy that does all the signs. Big Mets Energy, Mets News. Yeah. We all do things together. We all collaborate. We try to create a community.
I think that's something
what I try to knock. The Yankees do not do. Now, there's a reason Soto signed with us. And again, I feel like it was the right choice for him long term.
Right. I think there's something about historically terribly run franchises that allows the fan bases to really connect with each other, because you saying everything like that about the Mets is basically the same thing as with me with Jets fans. Like I've been able to, I'm friends with Joe Beningo. So, and I'm friends with a whole bunch of other content
Shout
creators.
Out to Joe. He went off today on WFAN.
Not only did he go off on WFAN, but his podcast, I'm plugging his podcast right now, Oh the Pain Podcast. I have never seen him with that much vitriol in such a long time, even though I had a huge problem with what he had to say about the Super Bowl halftime thing, which we'll get into later on.
So my last thing on the Mets, Michael K., I'm not even going to address you.
That was clickbait, man. He was doing that to troll, and a lot of Mets fans took the bait.
I think that he really has lost his way as a radio broadcaster. Not the Yankees voice.
Not the announcer. No. Not the announcer. An actual on-air personality.
I honestly feel like Michael does not want to be on air anymore. And that's why the split happened with him, Peter, and Don. Everybody would tune in to listen to Don anyways.
Don's the man.
Who doesn't love Don McGregor? And Michael just found a base that would give him, for lack of a better word, attention, ratings. I mean, he says there's no such thing as ratings, but not anymore. Views, clicks, reactions, whatever it may be. When he says,
I'll tell you what it is. It's money. It's money. That's what it comes down to. Michael K. does not shy away from this. I've been a fan of Michael K. for a long time, and he has not shied away from this. It's always about the money. A big reason why he probably still has his radio show, because it doesn't care about ratings or anything like that, because now they're not even on terrestrial radio as much anymore. But for him, it's just, hey, they're paying me, so I'll do it.
And they're probably paying him a pretty penny. But his as a Yankee announcer, great to listen to. I used to like him and Ken Singleton together. I think he's got a good dynamic with Paulie and David Cohn.
Yeah, and it's funny because you say that. I agree with that, but I also love Gary, Keith, and Ron, and that's funny because
for my money, they're really. They're not biased. And that's the only thing that I knock K for. He's the Yankees could be down 15-0, and it's the ninth inning. And he's like, "Well, we've seen this picture before. The Yankees have come back." Like,
yeah, he does do that.
Yeah, this is baseball. Completely different scenario. Gary, Keith, and Ron, they'll tell you. Gary said it himself, 0-4. That soundbite from last year, it doesn't get any worse than this. And when you watch them, they're giving you a critical point of view and a critical view of the team. And they also talk about what's great about the opposing team. They're just great to listen to. But not to knock K. I've always thought K was a great guy to call a game.
Right. And one of the things I respect about Gary, and this is a little controversial, but when he actually shared his opinion on the whole Charlie Kirk thing, I was like, man, this guy's got some balls.
Yeah, I mean, That's why Gary's, to me, he's just one of the. I mean, he just like Michael. He grew up a Mets fan.
Yeah.
But you can hear it in his voice. He's a fan of the game itself, and to me, he's just a joy to listen to. So that's why I'm not even gonna address Kay. I think he's in on his own. Let's talk about our. Today we did a good job, you and I. I mean, this was, by the way, this was not planned.
Yeah,
I got my Giant shirt on. Jason, as you all know, he's JETS,
just end the season.
So, let's talk about your game. As I said before, didn't get to watch a ton of football. I watched the Giant game around 6:00 in the afternoon. Yeah. I have a newborn at home, so it's kind of difficult to watch the games live. But
this might be a good thing. This might be a good thing. You have a new quarterback that may be the new future of your franchise, and you have a brand new baby that you just brought into this world. This might
she's already got a Giant onesie that she might wear on Sunday.
She's gonna be wearing a Jackson Dart necklace one of these days.
Maybe that that's his sister's necklace. But before going to the Giants, talk to me about because we share the same sentiment. You text me. You were like, "I'm a Jets fan. I know what this is like." So when the Mets were eliminated, 0-4. What is going on? This is a win we thought they would get, but we said it would be a trap game. What is going on,
dude? I even said it last episode. I feel like this is a trap game where I feel like, yes, the Dolphins are horribly coached. They don't have they have a below average quarterback. Their weapons can't stay healthy. This, that, and the third. And Mike McDaniel's on his way out the door. He's about to get his unemployment papers.
But he's drunk at the press conference. That was incredible.
Right. But from a football standpoint, on paper, the Jets should beat them. But the Dolphins are also thinking, look, these guys are 0-3 also. We could beat them. They got their flaws. We got a work cut out from this and the third. And they know how soft that defense is, because you want to know how historically bad the Jets defense right now? Darren Waller, a retired NFL tight end, who basically stole money from the Giants.
Former Giants.
Yeah. And then retired and then came back. And then all of a sudden, against this Jet defense, he looks like Tony Gonzalez. That's how bad this fucking defense is. I have had it with Steve Wilkes. I would not be. I hate doing this so early in the season, but I would just get rid of him. Steve Wilkes has shown time and time again that he is not as good as a coach as his reputation precedes him as. I think Aaron Glenn is a little bit in over his head. I don't know if he's going to be the right guy. I wasn't confident about the hiring, but even besides the coaching, the players got to show up. They got to be disciplined. They got to stop committing these dumb penalties. They had 18 total penalties, but 13 of them were accepted for 117 yards or something like that. And then the sad part about being a Jets fan is that when even before the game goes into the third or the fourth quarter, when the game is already over. And we already felt that feeling when they marched down the field. It looks like the Dolphins defense could not stop a nosebleed. Breece Hall is looking like the next coming of Barry Sanders. And then as soon as Braylon Edwards fumbles the ball on the goal line, on the 6-yard line, and the Dolphins recover it, that's when you knew that's it. The Jets are not winning this game. And when is the last time the Jets have ever fumbled the ball, or the opposing team fumbles the ball and they recover it? They never do. And do you realize that in the entire NFL, the New York Jets defense is the only team to fail to have a turnover? They have 0 turnovers in all facets in the entire league. So
the Jets have allowed 34, 30, 29, and 27 points.
Right. And also, and this kind of ties into the karma of the Jets and everything, but the officiating last night was horrendous. I mean, I don't know what's going on with the referees. They have one of the most egregious penalties against Garrett Wilson I've ever seen. If you look back at the tape, they flagged Garrett Wilson for offensive pass interference when he barely even touched his jersey that cost the Jets a touchdown. And, Garrett Wilson did have a nice touchdown in garbage time, but in reality, he should have had two. They took it away from that garbage, stupid a penalty that was not even anywhere passing it. Even Dan Orlovsky went on Twitter and showed that this was clearly not pass interference. So it was just horrible officiating, and that goes to and this may be a little ridiculous, but when you are a poorly run franchise that has no respect, you're never going to get your way. If this was the Kansas City Chiefs, they could have called that 7 times.
They would have got multiple calls.
Yeah, all day, every day, and twice on Sunday.
So I mean, can I just want to chime in here. I did not watch the Jets-Miami game, but I have watched the other three.
Good.
And a couple things stand out to me. The first game, which they put up 32 points.
Right.
Breece Hall had 19 carries, 107 yards. Right.
Yes. The
second game against Buffalo, he had 10, so 9 less, 29 yards. The third game, he only had 9 carries for 21 yards.
I see where you're going with this, yes.
Breece Hall has 14 carries against Miami with 81 yards. It's very clear to me he's got to get the rock 20 times.
Yes.
You got to, I mean, why not? You have the back. So, going into the season, I said Hall would be the key. And the connection between Wilson and the quarterback Fields would be two things to unlock this offense. Fields needs to make the right reads, the right throws, and when he has to, extend the plays with his legs. I don't know who's doing this play calling because that looks. I just read you the number of carries. Now, Breece easily could have 4 games rushing over 100 yards each game with a touchdown. He's easily the guy you want to give the rock to, possess the time, dominate the ball. And then guess what happens when you're running the ball and stuffing it down a team's throat? They have to load the box. And you have a wide receiver who is outstanding, that if your quarterback could get it to him, he could get you some plays. So
you want to hear my theory?
Go ahead. I mean, the Ohio State thing from he really hit it on the head. You go with that, but give me yours.
My theory with why they're not feeding Breece as much as they should, I don't think this regime is out for him long term. I think that there's and I hope I'm wrong. Not only do they not want to pay him, but they're probably looking at they could use him as a trade commodity during the deadline to try to get something. I would actually not be surprised, and it would devastate me if Breece Hall finishes this season in a different uniform.
He's 24 years old. That's a big mistake.
But
24 years old.
You have to keep in mind this is the regime that did not draft him.
Yeah, I understand that, but I mean, having him and Wilson is what makes you attractive on offense. The fact that you got a back, this feels way too familiar to the Giants situation. With not to say Breece Hall and Saquon Barkley is the same player. I'm just stating your bread and butter is with your running back.
Correct.
Your offensive game should be predicted around your running back. Why not give it a try? Obviously, game 1 you thought so. I mean, what was the number again? How many carries?
20-something.
19 carries. So he's got to touch the ball. And he was averaging 5.6 yards that game.
Yep.
And he averaged 5.8 in the last game. If he's averaging 5.8 yards, why not continue to give him the rock? Breece Hall should not have 81 rushing yards.
Especially when it comes to the quarterback, they clearly don't trust Justin Fields to throw the ball. So why not give the ball to Breece?
A shaky quarterback's best friend is a good running back, and you have one why not utilize him?
Correct. And that's the only logical explanation I can think of. And I think it's still illogical that they're possibly going to use him as a piece during the trade deadline.
So I want to do something a little different right here.
Okay.
Because I need to step away just for a quick second.
Okay.
I'm going to give you the full screen.
Okay.
And I'm going to give you the Don LaGreca treatment. I want you to tell me, vent. This is your therapy session. How do you feel about your New York Jets?
The New York Jets are without a doubt the worst organization, sports organization, in all of American sports. Not just in football, but in all American sports at this point. You want to talk about the Pittsburgh Pirates or the Oakland Athletics or the Cleveland Browns or any other trash franchise in sports that you could think of. Let me tell you this, guys. What do those other trash teams have that the New York Jets don't have? Their own stadium. When you don't have your own stadium, you don't have a home, you don't have an identity. They've had to share it with the Mets at Shea Stadium. They had to share it at the Polo Grounds. They've been sharing it with the Giants for several years now, and it's still Giant Stadium. No matter how much you want to make it as green as you want, whenever the Jets play there, it's always going to be known as Giant Stadium. They are the rent dwellers there. Woody Johnson continues to show that he is the worst owner in all of sports, especially considering that your franchise has the longest playoff drought more than any other team in football, baseball, and hockey. You don't even seem like you're interested in football and winning. Woody Johnson seems like a guy who is a billionaire and just owns a football team because that's what billionaires do. Can care a goddamn less if they actually win or not. And I know a lot of people want to get on Jerry Jones, and I have my own grasp with Jerry and everything, but at least Jerry, with all of his egotistical nonsense and so on and so forth, is not out there strutting iced out chains trying to fit in with the cool crowd with sexy red. And also, let's not forget, Woody Johnson got an F for everything owner-wise. Like, forget exactly what happened last year, but he got a great F. The only owner to get an F from the entire NFL league, and then he thought that maybe he could try to get a better grade by changing the facility, making it nicer, making it more affordable or amenable, whatever the case may be. It doesn't matter. We're still losing. And as far as like coaching is concerned, and this also falls on Woody as well, because I know that he really wanted Eric Glenn to be this because he is a former Jet. Why do the Jets keep on hiring first-time head coaches that have never done it before and they're defensive-minded? It is an offensive it's an offensive league now. Everybody is throwing the ball 50, 60 times these days. And this whole ground and pound nonsense, if you're going to do it, you better be goddamn well that you do it well, because that is like thinking prehistoric right into football back in like 1970s and 80s. We're not wearing afros and driving Cadillacs anymore back in the day. We're not wearing fur coats like Joe Namath did. The times have changed. The Jets have to change. And Gary V, I know you said many times that you wish that you could own or you are going to own the New York Jets one day. When is that going to happen? Because at this point, Woody Johnson needs to go. He's not going to go willingly. And at this point, I might get in trouble for saying this, but I feel like the only way that Woody Johnson is going to get away from the New York Jets is if he falls onto the Epstein list, which I highly doubt. But that's the only way at this point it seems that he's going to be no longer the owner of the New York Jets. So yeah.
Oh, how does that feel? I mean,
it's going to feel good until they get destroyed by the Cowboys again, which is going to be Jerry World East.
Well, I'll give you some good news, right? You're going to see Fields have a career day as a quarterback. You're going to see a high-scoring game. And dare I even say maybe there's a shot at winning this game. The Cowboys are the team to bet against when it comes to defenses. Defenses are putting a ton of points on the Cowboys. They're not that good. And poor Dak's got to see these Lambs out for 3 weeks. I hate to see, like, I don't know what they're going to do. So Jets have a shot. That's all I'm saying.
And you know what?
And I know you went on the ground and pound, but it needs to start with the running game for them.
Yeah. You know what's interesting is that in Adam Gase's first year as the head coach of the New York Jets, they were 0-4, and then they finally get their first win of the season against Dak Prescott and the Dallas Cowboys. So maybe will history repeat itself? Or are they just going to go?
Is it in Jerry World? I don't.
No, it's at MetLife.
It's at MetLife. No. I think this one. Hold on a second. Yeah, it is at MetLife.
It's at MetLife because Ugo and Carlos and Joe Beningo are going to the game.
Okay. Okay.
I'm gonna try to go, but honestly, I have I'm the best man at my best friend's wedding, so we might be having a bachelor party that weekend. So we'll see.
I mean, at this point in time, the Mets gave me a lot of heartbreak over the summer. I usually enjoy baseball, and I thought with adding Francisco Lindor is one of my favorite players. I love a lot of the players on the Mets. I love the game itself. Ellie De La Cruz to me is one of the most exciting players I've seen in a really long time. I think Bellinger in the Yankees. I've always been a Bellinger guy. Who doesn't like Aaron Judge or respect him at least?
Right.
I'm a fan of the game, but when my team is playing good, it makes me feel a lot better, and I feel shitty about my Mets and my Giants. But this weekend, like I said, I didn't watch it live. My brother sent me a text, which kind of let me know we were doing pretty good. He said the kid looks pretty decent so far, and that's Jackson Dart. And it doesn't come with all good news because Malik Neighbors is out for the season. Yeah. So I watched the game. I watched every snap, and I think it's let the kids play type of thing for the Giants. Trade Wilson, see what you could get, load up on picks. I would even trade Jameis Winston. A lot of teams are looking for quarterbacks right now. You got two quarterbacks that people want. Friday, Saturday. Jason's got some video that's coming on.
No, sorry, that was Frankie Negron. Sorry.
No, it's so we got some trade chips. Do I want to see us win a lot of games? I mean, it depends, man. I just want to see some good football. I suffered last year. Last year was horrendous. I mean, you guys haven't seen the playoffs in a long time, but
playoffs.
Football is a game that you wait for Sunday, you wait for the 1 or the 4 or Sunday night football game, and you could get lost in it for a couple hours. It's entertainment.
Yes.
And Jackson Dart provided a very much needed spark, passion, all the things that I said the Mets don't play with. That kid showed at the stadium, and I think the Giants fans knew that because of how hard he played in the preseason, and we just wanted to give him a shot. And we had a Ole Miss quarterback with LSU wide receiver. Last time we had Eli and OBJ, and this time we have
shimmy, yeah.
Yeah, this time we have Dart and Neighbors. Speaking of OBJ, I think we should bring him back. The Giants should give him a shot.
He's retired now, right?
No, he hasn't. He has not. I think we should have brought him back from the beginning of the season, let him have camp. He would have been a good guy to have Neighbors under, and because I feel like I loved Odell. Malik, but Odell will give me some headaches early on. Malik gives me worse headaches than Odell. Like
really?
his facial expression on some plays and just the bravado that he has. I get it. We have diva wide receivers, but it's bad. He feels entitled. He's spoiled. As talented as he is, I think he needs like an Odell guy to guide him along. Like, hey, this is going to happen. This is just a game,
Yeah. Well, he's going to have a whole year to rehab and humble himself, unfortunately. I was watching the game and I did see the injury. So
And what is it with these NFL injuries? A lot of big like
Yeah.
marquee names have gone down already. Joe Burrow,
Yeah. Well, I don't know if you saw.
CeeDee Lamb, Malik Neighbors. Odell made the comment about the turf at the stadium.
Right. Yeah, that's what I was getting at.
Yeah. So, what's your take on it, and what should, because these are a lot of great players going down early in the season.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know what to say. I mean, the fact of the matter is, injuries are a huge part of the game. I mean, it's terrible. They suck. We wish that it never happened, but it is something that comes along with the game, and it's and believe me, as a long suffering Jets fan, I know what it's like when you have one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time, and basically his season ends in four snaps in. Yeah, we can't have nice things. Yeah, but yeah, and also with Elijah Vera Tucker. Elijah Vera Tucker tore his triceps yet again before week 1 happened.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, listen, as much as we hate injuries, they're just a part of the game, and we can't do anything about it. The only
McCarthy's hurt as well. It's a lot of guys. A lot.
And Tyreek Hill. Tyreek Hill's out.
Tyreek Hill.
He dislocated his knee.
Multiple ligaments. Dislocated his knee. Who else? It's like a litany of players. You know, Jackson Dart is questionable for Sunday. I mean, although I think we'll see him.
Yeah. Well, the Jets actually acquired a new cornerback from Tennessee, Brownlee, but he's still dealing with an ankle injury. Like when he came to the Jets facility, he was in a boot, so we don't even know when he's going to play. But we definitely got to see what we got in him because Brandon Stevens is not cutting it out for the Jets as far as cornerback number 2.
Purdy is questionable for Sunday
with the turf toe.
Lamar Jackson.
George Kittle's out.
It's a lot of big names.
Even Nick Bosa's out.
John Connor. Yeah, I'm just looking through the fantasy league. A lot of first round draft picks in fantasy league went down in the first couple weeks, so it's been a rough. Mike Evans is out. Yep. So we'll just see. So I want to end the show today with some amazing news.
Yes.
Bad Bunny was selected to perform at the halftime show this year. I think for the last 5 or 6 years, no one's worked harder as an artist than him. It was beautiful what he did over the summer, doing a residency in Puerto Rico, making the fans go down to the island and experience it firsthand, especially during the off season where tourism is down. It was beautiful that he blocked out several shows just for the people of Puerto Rico that live in Puerto Rico. It was beautiful that he decided not to do a U.S. tour because he didn't want his fans being hauled out the stadiums or arenas by ICE agents. Mm-hmm. No artist has, during COVID, he did a concert on a bus around New York City. He played Yankee Stadium. The list goes on and on and on. I think he's dropped 3 or 4 classic albums in the last 5 years.
Yep.
There's no bigger star on the planet than him and deserves it more than him. Last year, I understood that Kendrick Lamar, and Kendrick did a terrific performance, which I think was nominated for an Emmy. I don't know if it won the Emmy.
I think it did.
Which is fantastic.
Yeah, I loved it. I thought it was fantastic.
For years, fans of the NFL clamored for younger halftime performers, people who are relevant, something for the fans to look forward to. And Jay-Z took over, and he has provided that. Bad Bunny has not received the greatest reception as the halftime performer. And I'm going to let you go first on your thoughts and the backlash he's received.
Yeah. Well, first and foremost, I loved that he was announced because if we're talking music-wise, I'll reiterate everything you said. I think that he is one of the hardest working, if not the hardest working artists in all of music right now. And it's a great look for him. I think that not only is his music fantastic, but what he has done as an artist and as a person is unbelievable in a great way. And I think that he should be more appreciated, more outside of his out of our culture. But the thing that really bothers me about this whole thing is that this is just for the people that are upset, it seems like there's two main groups. And there's one side of the group where it's people that are just those regular get off my lawn type of guys that wish that it was Metallica or Bruce Springsteen or, I don't know, Judas Priest or Black Sabbath that will perform, instead of people like the same people. Like you and I agree. Kendrick Lamar had an amazing halftime performance last year, but these people are saying that it was horrible, but that's only because it's from a political standpoint. And now I think that even Fox News was trying to bring up the whole thing about the ICE agents thing and so on and so forth. And they're using all this political stuff in order to cloud people about how good of a look this is. And for me, and this is going to be a very controversial part, the fact that they won't even acknowledge, like, I actually I heard rather that somebody, even as a joke, but said that they would rather have Taylor Swift performing at the halftime Super Bowl instead of Bad Bunny. And to me, that is just another sign of white supremacy. I mean, and at the same time, this doesn't do anything to assuage the people that are still angry about the whole Colin Kaepernick situation. That, unfortunately, that still hasn't gone away. And that's the part that really annoys me. And from what I've heard on my side, for the people that have the negative perception about it. But I think it's just terrible. It's just a microcosm, again, of where we are as a society in this country. And I really hate when we use sports, which is like the toy store, the candy shop, to get away from everyday life and the trials and tribulations that life has to come with. And then afterwards, they have to spill it over into the toy store or candy shop, and we can't even enjoy that. So I think that a lot of people are just gutless, they're ignorant, they're arrogant, and it's just showing so much right now with the world that we live in right now. And it's just really sad because if they really actually take a second to actually appreciate what this man has done musically and environmentally and constantly and personally, I think it should be lauded. And I think it's a great look. And also, a lot of the people that are complaining is like, they don't even watch the halftime. They're the ones that are complaining that, oh, you guys don't want to watch the Super Bowl because you just want to watch the halftime shows and the commercials. You don't care about the regular game. Those are the people that I'm also hearing complaining a lot. So if that's the case, why don't you just skip the Super Bowl halftime show and then just focus on the game itself?
I mean, so I just want to talk facts and numbers. Bad Bunny and I just want to say, as far as Latin music, it grosses in revenue yearly $1.4 billion, right? He is the biggest star in Latin music, right? Yes, his music is all in Spanish, but that's because that's his language. He raised around 700, and don't quote the exact number, but around 700 for the island of Puerto Rico during his residency. People put out 200 because 200 is directly what was gotten from the arena and the ticket sales and the merch and all that stuff. But it's around 700 for the economy of the island. Not only that, he did it on the anniversary of Hurricane Maria, which the United States loves saying Puerto Rico is a island of the U.S. It's a property or whatever it is. But when Hurricane Maria happened, all you got was Donald Trump footballing paper towels to Puerto Rican people who were struggling and needed actual help. The no music in English thing. So what? The majority of the U.S. are Spanish-speaking people. So get with it. We will never 100% have a halftime performer that plays for everybody. I get the people that aren't into his music and would have much rather seen like a pop star up there. I understand that point of view. But to immediately attack him for his stance and say that he's trying to do an anti-ICE rally and no songs in English and all this other propaganda stuff. I beg you to listen to his music and then translate some of the songs. He's someone that cares about society and cares about people. The music is fantastic. He's probably one of the biggest global stars in the world. There's no one bigger at this moment in time. Taylor Swift in that conversation as well. There's no one bigger than him to get eyeballs to the halftime show. So for fans who, and these are most right wing people, like the majority understood the man had earned it. If you look at the numbers and you look at what he's done in the last, again, I'm not talking about this year alone with Debí Tirar Más Fotos. I'm talking about his body of work.
Yeah.
And no one deserved it more. And especially when you go and you see Amazon streams the September 20th concert, and it does the numbers that it does. The NFL is a business. It wants to provide entertainment. But music is an art form. And an artist is allowed to express how they feel. And if it goes over your head, it goes over your head, as most people with the Kendrick thing, which is fine. That's okay. You will get this type of performance from Bad Bunny, but you will also get you'll get those records, those feel good, let's have fun records, and I guarantee you're gonna get some of the ones that he performed at his performance.
Yeah, and I want to add this. I want to add this too. I am not the biggest fan of Beyonce's music. That's just me. I understand how significant she is in a lot of people's culture and lives and so on and so forth. Her music just doesn't do it for me. But when she performed the halftime show in New Orleans, when it was the Ravens and the 49ers, still to this day, one of the best performances I've ever seen in my entire life from an artist. And I'm not even a fan of this person. So that just goes to show that people just sit, watch, and enjoy, and try to see things with an open mind instead of just having preconceived notions about what you may think about a person, especially a performer.
I think the weekend one was cool. It wasn't as great as I thought.
I actually liked it. I know it was divisive, but I personally liked it.
Beyonce was great. She always, but she's a performer. She puts on a show. When you get like an outstanding performer, what are some of my favorite ones that I've seen? Some of the rock ones are pretty cool. But when you got like, older rock stars that are not connecting with this generation, it might not hit the same. So you're not going to address everybody as a whole. There's going to be people who be like, oh, I don't care. Excuse me. The Rihanna performance I really liked. I
wasn't crazy about it.
I feel like, the J-Lo Shakira. I feel like they're going. Bruno Mars was fantastic. I feel like they're going. But that's the thing. Like Bruno Mars, Beyonce, Bad Bunny, they put on their performers, their artists. They put on a great show. I feel like he's going in the right direction, and I'm a little biased because he's one of my favorite artists right now. So I was happy and elated. And the fact that he's going to put on, he's going to put on for Puerto Rico big time. And I'm not Puerto Rican. My wife is, my father-in-law is, my kids are part Puerto Rican. He's going to send a message. And not only Puerto Rico, but all the Latinos, he's going to, like, we're here. And stop trying to whitewash America, which is basically what they're trying to do.
Right. This is a little bit of a side note, but it just came to mind right now where I think it's funny still to this day that until the day you met me in person, you thought that I was the Puerto Rican version of you, and I'm not even Puerto Rican.
I 100%. Yeah, but I get it all the time. I get, are you Puerto Rican or are you Colombian? Those are the first two I get.
Yeah. I always get Puerto Rican.
So. But it was a good thing, good moment. So that's been it for me and my co-host Jason. We will be back on a regular basis. Tuesdays, I was about to say Monday. Monday's the Rick Gay show.
Yes.
So let me give you the rundown real quickly. Mondays, Rick A Show. Tuesdays, the 2 a.m. crew. And Wednesdays, first class, second place with Jason Enrique. That's it for us. We'll see you guys next Tuesday. Jason.
All right. It's indeed.
Any last notes?
Let's go Knicks. That's all I got now.
I mean, let's watch whatever football's good, and can't wait for my Knicks to start.
I know, yeah.
See you guys.
All right, brother. See you guys next week.
I'm getting it back. See me and all my family. Don't buy the bullshit you're talking about. Stop hating on the next man, get up. Most talk tough, but ain't no killers. To my little man, ain't no man realer. Cause Papa make sure that he always eat dinner. They shooting for the paper. He don't change for a little bit of change. Wave to them haters. Hi hater, mad they bitches love me like vibrators. Been sick since pushed through labor. Spent chips like I never ever planned for later. Stop worrying and counting the next man money. Fucking calculators.